So this theme today is going to be talking about setting proper expectations in the family business. When family members are arguing, debating, or carrying their pressure and stress into the organization, into the culture, into the business, it creates an uncomfortable situation for everyone around there. So the first and foremost is having some rules about when we walk through that front door and we're in game time, we are all in the game and it's all about the game. We don't carry our personal stuff in, and this is true, like when we coach employees that are struggling working in a business and they're bringing their personal baggage into the business, we coach the employees on how not to do that as well, because you got to think of the business as the game. You're in the game. And the moment you go through that door or the moment you're engaged with something relative to supporting the mission, which is the business, you got to be in mission mode. Think of astronauts. They can have a lot of stuff going through their head. Think of the support mechanism at NASA, supporting the astronauts. Each one of those people could have a lot of things going on in their head about personal stuff or relationships. But when somebody's so interdependent on what you're talking about and what you're thinking about and what you're doing, that it could make or create the difference of devastation or success. The question to ask yourself is, how in the game do you need to be at that moment? I mean, come on. How many of you would love if all the aircraft controller organizations were controlled by family businesses that were spending all their energy while they're watching the blips on the radar, arguing and debating about things that are happening outside of that moment and that objective? How secure would you feel? You wouldn't feel secure at all. So if you think of your job, your responsibility, your commitment to the mission, greater and above all else, when you come in that door or when you're involved in the business, you have to understand it's about the mission. If you can get everyone focused on the mission and the objective of the mission and how they fit into that, and when you're in the game or when you're in motion and you're engaged in the mission, staying focused and keeping it relative to the mission. Now, some would say, that sounds easy, but if you're already teed off or upset or pissed off at your spouse or your kid, and now you're going into the office and you're working side by side, that's not easily done. And what I would say to you is, you're right. I fully get it. I see it. But everything's energy. And if you're irritated with each other, and if you're short with each other, and your business is reliant on other people helping you and working with you, or customers coming into that environment, and people feel that, it's actually pushing people away from you. So much in business is energy. And if the vibe isn't enthusiastic, excited, compelled, committed, aligned, and the vibe is something other than that, your customers feel it. If your employees feel it, they'll reverberate it to your customers. If your customers feel it directly, they'll amplify it to themselves and the community around you. So I think really understanding that when you're in business, having a much higher purpose for the business outside of the contributors in the business, all contributors, family members, employees, everyone, understanding that when you're in the game and you're doing what you need to be doing at the highest impact possible, personal stuff needs to be set aside. Now, there'll be growth in that. You will have to learn to navigate that. You'll have to learn to do that. But think about everything you do as energy, and just ask yourself a simple question. In anyone that encounters us, in our mission to be the best at what we do, how do we want them to feel about us in the process of doing it? This is a core question. If you're challenged in a family business today and you're trying to figure out how to navigate getting everyone in the family to get along, to go along, to drive the business to the mission, do this one exercise. Bring whoever you're working with into the room and say, the mission of this business, the purpose is this. Identify what that is, crystal clear. And then say, each of us have a purpose and our own mission in fulfilling that commitment if we're really serious about it. And we all are obligated to support and contribute to the mission in our own individual and unique ways. And then each person write down, when somebody encounters any of you while you're performing your duties and responsibilities and contributing to the environment and contributing to the mission, when people encounter you, your own employees, external customers, vendors, anyone, when they encounter you, what is the vibrational energy? If you could transfer that into words, 3 to 5 words, how do you want people to feel and engage you if you could define it with 5 words? And then ask if those 5 words are exemplifying what you are or are not doing. And I'll give you some examples. If I want people to feel secure, I want them to feel confident, I want them to feel alive, I want them to feel valued, then they need to see that and feel it in the environment and the culture. So if I say I want people to feel valued, I want them to feel confident, I want them to feel excited to work with us, I want them to feel empowered to be able to do whatever we're doing with them, then ask yourself, are the things we're doing in that culture and in that environment exemplifying that or undermining it? And do it as a family objective. Have each person in the family write down, this is very simple, have them write down when people encounter us, what is the energy and what is the things we want them to see that reflect on us as a business who's serious about our commitment to whatever it is we're doing. How would I describe how I want them to feel and see us in that situation?